Good morning. Welcome to Memphis Monday 284. Today we got an interesting project. Back at about Memphis Monday 276, made some cedar storage boxes for the War Department, and I put too much cedar oil in one of them and kind of made it unusable for putting clothes in it. Well, I'd like me to make another one. Problem is, I don't make the same box, so we'll make a different kind of box. So that'll be fun, and we'll change the wood too. Instead of using cedar, we're going to use cypress, which would be cool. But if you want to see the cedar boxes, you can go to Memphis Monday 276. Also, sorry about the sound last week. I changed the sound system a little bit now. I put something different on there. I'll run a few minutes of video, then I'll go check it and make sure the sound's still working. Okay, we're rambling on here. Let's knock off the chit chat and get to work. Here's a little drawing of what we did last time. I don't think we had box joints in the one last time, but it had a little lid that overlapped all the way around. Well, that's kind of necessary if it's used outside, but this is going to be an inside storage box, so we don't need that. So instead, I think we're going to make something like this. It'll be a split case box. It'll be solid wood all around. Instead of putting a 1/8 inch bottom in it, we'll just make the whole box out of cypress, and then we'll split the case and put some handles on it and so forth. Here's my cut list. I need two boards that are 14 by 24, two more that are 10 by 12, and two sides that are 14 by 10. So let's get to it. What I did is I made these cypress panels out of 7 1/4 inch boards, just glued them together and ran them through the sander. And we'll take our stock out of these panels. Okay, first thing is I'll take those panels and cut them down to 14 inches. I'll cut 2 of them down to 14 inches, and then we'll get our length after that. Okay, what I'm going to do here is cut this down to 14 inches and then trim it down to 13 and a half. I decided to go to 13 and a half. This might be a takeaway. We're going to put box joints in our box, which means that I want the grain of the wood to run long ways on these ends, and the front and the back, which may seem obvious, but on my cut list I had the grain going the wrong way. So glad I checked that. So that was a close call. This is the stuff. This is the material for the front and back. This is for the ends. I'll go ahead and cut out this stock, and we'll be on a roll. I got the pieces all cut out here. Kind of just pushed them together and clamped them. Okay, it's time to put the box joints on our box. In order to test the setup and everything, I had these remnants left over this cedar. So I went ahead and made another little box and tested our setup. It looks pretty good. Now I won't show you the whole setup, but I will give you this little takeaway. You basically have three things here that have to be exactly the same size. Your blade thickness has to be the same size. This middle thickness has to be the same size. And then your little spacer here has to be the same size. So I got this little spacer here. So I can lay that on there and see that's the same. That's the same between the blade. And this is the same size as the blade. Now the question is how you line. I just did the front and the back sides, and here are the sides here. Now the question is, where do I want this first slot? And obviously I want it, that right there has got to be cut out. So there's a procedure for getting that, but if you know that, then you can derive the solution. Let me show you how you do that. So I take that first notch right there, I put it back in the slot, just like that. Now I'll line my other boards up. You've probably seen guys do this 100 times, but if you know why you're doing it, it makes it easier to remember. Okay, so that's how I want it. When you have a small row of box joints like we did our little sample here, you know, they're not, there's only what, 5 of them here, so you don't have time for the errors to multiply. But in a longer row like this, any small errors you have will kind of compound themselves, and then the thing will be hard to fit together. Those are going together too hard. Probably won't do anything about it, but I just wanted you to know that. These things should go together like that just did. And this one just did. You know, tight, but not real tight, because you gotta put glue in there. I guess takeaway time. I don't know what best, I'm not advocating this as the best method, but when I glue up these things, this is how I do it. It seems to work. what I do is I break them apart, and then I put a drop of glue on the top of each one of the fingers. So I'll put glue there, put glue there, put glue there, put glue there, there, and there. So now, when these things slide together, this glue is going to be over here, this glue will be over here, this glue will be here, and so forth. And each one of the surfaces will have glue. Might even be easier to see over here on the real deal. This makes it real easy because you can just put your glue on just like that. I think they even have a tool to do this. A lot of guys lay them out flat. And you just do the same thing on the other side. And you slide them together, just like that. On my sound again. I think I had a loose connection or a bad wire or something. I went back to this little thing. I had one of those fuzzy microphones. It didn't work. I had another Wi-Fi system and it didn't work. So I went back to this and I tested it again. It seemed to work. I must be the only person. Hey, what I'm doing here is I'm gluing the top on this thing, and then I'm going to stick it on. I'm hoping that the glue will hold it, but I'm going to stick it on with brads. Stop talking about my sound system here. So I will stick this on with brads. Am I the only person that has trouble with this wood filler drying up? This whole tube, look there, I bought a tube, and even the tube is dried up. Well, now I'm even having trouble with this stuff drying up in a brand new tube. I want to get another tube, but this is my last one. If this gives out, I'm in trouble. Well, here she is all glued up. I still got to flatten these box joints out, shape the lid a little bit, and that's what I'm doing on a prototype. Our next step on the project is to smooth out these box joints and also go around the lid and square that away. And I like to use one of these pad sanders here, and this is how it works. I put some plywood on our prototype here instead of putting the solid wood. I'm going to go ahead and finish this And before we start on the final work we got to do on the project, well, we're not going to be able to finish this first after all, because I had to do a re-glue up on part of the lid. So let's get to the project. And move outside because this makes so much dust. And I got my B-52 blowing out that way. And I'm using a disc sander. And I got my angle grinder here. I don't think I need it, but I brought it out so I don't have to go back for it if I need it. On this top here, I got about a 1/16 of an inch overlap, and I'm going to take that off with the angle grinder. So I took most of it off with the angle grinder. Now then I'll finish it up with the disc sander. Okay, I'm going to ease the edges here with some 80 grit. Well, I think this is actually 40 or 60 grit. And then I'll do some finish sanding with 220. Didn't want any finish on that box we just split, so I'm not going to put any finish on it. But she didn't say anything about this box because she didn't know if she was going to get it, so I'm going to put some teak oil on it. I may be liking our prototype better than our project. The teak oil looks pretty good, doesn't it? Let's try it on the outside now. I think our little box came out fine. Well, I said we were going to get to work on this, but actually there's nothing to do. She wants no finish. She said that 15 times. Don't put any finish on it. I just want a bare wood box with no finish. Have I told you she didn't want any finish? I think I did. Well, here are boxes for Memphis Monday 284. Made out of Cypress. Wife didn't want them. No finish at all. No oil, no shellac, nothing. Got box joints. Cypress all the way around. I got the little stopper there. Put a wooden handle here, no finish. And we also made our prototype while we were building our other box, and it turned out pretty nice. I think we finished this with teak oil. So overall, I'm pretty satisfied. Well, that'll do it for Memphis Monday 284. Today we built 2 boxes, both out of Cypress. We finished one with teak oil, put box joints in both of them. The bigger box, the little woman didn't want any finish on it. I keep saying that, but it looks kind of weird, but that's what you wanted. So like, favorite, share, all the stuff you know on the internet. Most important, make sure you're back here next week for Memphis Monday 285. Thanks for playing along. Good morning. If you want to see how we made these 2 Cypress storage boxes, stay tuned, because that's what we're going to do today.